I think most Ole Miss fans are kind of in shock still after Lane Kiffin left, went to LSU, and there's a lot of looking back. Chuck Ronsville over at the Ole Miss Spirit did that at on3.com and pointed out some things I really hadn't put in place. Chuck put stuff in place a lot better than I did, looking at it from what I call looking at it from 30,000 feet back over the past few years. And Chuck's much closer to it than I've been because I've been covering other things around the SEC most of that time. So a lot of this, I'm taking Chuck and putting what Chuck said and putting my opinion on it from what I observed. And we had a lot of the same discussions. The credit that the Ole Miss Rebels have built in the football program is not all credited to Lane Kiffin, or it shouldn't be. Let's put it that way. It should not all be credited to Ole Miss, because the Ole Miss Rebel fans and the people in the Grove Collective, they put things together to allow this to happen. All Kiffin did was call a few plays, and he had as many stinkers as he did plays that were big, huge deals. It comes down to the players because they have to execute whatever's called. And I remember a lot of those fourth down calls that I'm going, what is he doing? And they didn't work. When they work, everybody's a genius. When they don't, well, what's he doing that for? But Lane Kiffin got a pass on that because fans were so enamored with the fact that the times it did work was often spectacular. And yes, that was true. Look for Pete Golding to be fine as the coach. He's been around and observed. Pete Golding's been around, played his college ball in the state of Mississippi, Delta State. And Pete was a pretty good defensive back. I owned the radio stations down there at the time when he was in college and covered him, knew him. My son, Taylor, who writes for HottyToddy.com, covered Delta State when Pete was on the defensive staff of Ron Roberts, the Delta State coach, who is probably out of a gig over in Florida. Might not be a bad advisor to have in here during this college football playoff run. Anyway, just things to keep in mind. But Ole Miss fans, you should give yourself some credit too. It wasn't all Lane Kiffin. Life will go on as long as that collective goes on and keep putting the support into it, because nowadays you don't recruit,